Hello, guys. There is something that I think that I have to bring up that is important. So how do I say? All right. So today I was in an area of the city. I go down and I actually met a pretty girl and she liked me. And we were having a conversation and she was good. She was about to give me her number. It would have been pretty easy, I think, and I probably would have seen her again. But out of nowhere, some girl that I met like a long time ago, this feminist girl that is, she hates men. It's very obvious she just has a hatred towards men. She walks up into the middle of our conversation. She goes, "Excuse me, I have to tell you something. Don't talk to this guy. He's a creep." She said this. And the girl, obviously girls are hive mentality. So basically they follow each other. And then I tried to talk. I was like, "What are you talking about? What happened? Why are you saying this?" I was trying to say that to her. I didn't really remember this girl so much, right? And she looked back at me and she says, like, here's the thing. These women, man, a lot of them are so emotionally driven that they don't think logically. You can't have a logical discourse with them because they're so emotional. And how do I say? These are the same women, like they will call. I don't think it's because of my maybe it is my attractiveness, because she's not an attractive girl, and the girl I was talking to was way prettier, and she was liking me, right? So she's not this feminist girl is not pretty, and she basically was very angry, but it was weird because I met this girl like months ago. And we had an argument about what men and women are like by text message. And basically, she was very angry at me because I was saying some truths about women, black pill type truths to her by text. I was being very frank. I'm very honest with women, and sometimes they want to believe in the blue pill as well, and I kind of shatter that whenever I hear it. I don't like coping lies. I like the truth. So... So I believe it was a girl from that time period, and she basically, here's what I'm trying to say. So that happened, and I could not even speak. I literally was like, wait, what happened? I tried to ask her. I tried to coherently and rationally understand why she's saying this, what brings her into this conversation, why is she trying to ruin our interaction, and she had no answer. She pretty much said, "I don't need an explanation. We don't need an explanation." And then she just walked away, taking the other girl with her. And I was standing there. Wasn't upset because I don't think much of women in general. I really don't think the character, again, like honestly, the majority of women have really poor character. They just do. It's not just a blind belief. If you look at the truth of how they behave and how they operate in life, it's not good for the most part. Some women, I guess, are good character, but most women are not. Most women have bad character and corruption, a lot of corruption in female nature today. They're able to get away with having poor character, unlike men. Men could get a lot more flack for the things that they do that are wrong. Women, not so as much. So that happened. I'm fine with it. I was a little bit pissed off, but here's the thing that comes to mind. So women are so irrational and emotional. That's the issue here. They're irrational and emotional, and when they will, a lot of times they will hate a guy for no reason, right? He could be an actual good guy, but they'll dislike him for some reason, whether it's because he's ugly, whether it's because, his race. Women are very, they have all these superficial things that go into whether they like a guy or not. And they will hate a guy for reasons that are very difficult for us to understand as men. They're just random reasons. And here's the problem. If, like, for instance, if that girl came up and started saying this, like, bad things towards me, and there's a group of guys around that, let's say, I don't know, the guys would automatically just take her side. Guys would naturally do that. I don't know why. Most men think that women are right, and they listen to women's judgment of men and believe it. Like if a girl says this guy's a creep, the group of guys will think that same thing. Guys are very they will also try to take her side. Maybe subconsciously they're thinking they're getting more female. They're like succeeding more in their reproductive capacity. Like maybe they're improving their ability to mate with the women. I don't know, something like that, right? So men will generally take the side of women, and that is one of the horrible things about our time. I mean, I was one time at this nightclub in I think it was New York. Yeah, I was in this nightclub, and I ran into these two girls. They were average. They were not very attractive, and they were roughhousing one guy, and the guy looked like a really nice dude, but he was an unattractive dude. His head was a strange shape. It looked like he had a bulb type head shape. He was acting so honorable and so calm. He was asking them, "Why are you girls treating me like this? I don't understand." They were just looking at him and pouncing on him. He was brown, probably Middle Eastern, bald, not very good looking. And immediately when I saw that, I walked up to those two girls. And I was like, "What are you girls doing?" And I was like, I have more status than those girls. I know the people at that nightclub, and they could sense that I had more status. I was dressed better. I looked a bit more. I looked very comfortable there, and they looked out of place. They looked like they needed to be in a mall or something, not in a nightclub, right? So I walked up to them. I said, "What are you girls? Why are you girls treating this guy like that?" And they're illogical. So, whoops, right? Me asking that hits them a little bit of ounce of rationality, and they paused for a moment. They had no idea what they were doing. They were just roughhousing this guy. They were saying stuff like, "You need to leave or you're going to get your ass kicked." They were saying this to this guy for no reason other than the fact that he was there. They got a perverse satisfaction from abusing a guy and being put in a position of power over him, and they were doing that. And I walked up to them and said, "What are you girls doing? Why are you treating him like that?" No logical answer. They couldn't answer me. And then one of the girls left. One of the girls stayed, and she said, "We're trying to stop him from getting his ass kicked by our friends." I said, "Your friends are not even here. Like your guy friends are like away from this area. What are you talking about?" And then she continued talking. She had trouble answering it. Then I said, "Listen, you're being mean to this guy because he's physically unattractive." She looked in my eyes, and she knew she was a complete. It was as if I told a truth that she could not deny. And she got real nervous, and then she couldn't respond. And then she said, "Oh, you're calling him unattractive." And then I was like, "He is unattractive, and you're making fun of it. You're roughhousing him for that." And then she goes, "Oh, you're calling him unattractive," and she walked away. Women are so pathetic in the fact that they can't stand behind what they do. They rarely have coherent, rational arguments backing what they do. They're so pathetic. You guys have to stop taking women seriously, man. You can't take women seriously today. Really, a rare exception, but most women you cannot take seriously. You have to be careful though, because if you could make a sly remark to a woman, and she could contact your employer or the police and get you arrested for it. That's how women are today. But they have the incredible advantage in any sort of situation like that, whether it's a work scenario, a legal scenario, a marriage scenario. They always have a ridiculous advantage, an unfair advantage, and I think it's a horrible thing. It's not equal. Women have the upper hand in most social situations, and that is a problem because most women have corrupt character, and it's a fact. Listen, I understand there are some women who don't have corrupt character, but as a whole, if we're looking at the majority of women, they do have corrupt natures. There are so many factors. There's the manipulations, the lies, the lack of empathy towards men who devote so much time and effort into pursuing them. They will ghost that man. They will cheat so easily on their guy for a guy who is better looking. They will transition from one relation to the next without any empathy or compassion towards their former man. Okay, so you have to keep that in mind. And I'm telling you because this is the majority of women. This is not a select few women who are corrupt. This is the majority. And I think, of course, there are some women who are, here's the thing, all right? There's women who are, obviously you look at them and the way they behave, you know that they're not good people. And they're very open about it. They're the ones who are on, TikTok or whatever, saying that, all short men should die. Those are the girls who are openly screwed up, okay? So they're screwed up. But there's a lot of girls who are screwed up that are not openly screwed up. They're coy. Their behavior, the way that they act is not really who they are on the inside. Okay? And that is a really large quantity as well. So we have women who are corrupt openly, which is like 25%. Then we have women who are corrupt but secretly. They hide it behind a smile and charming attitude. And I would say that's also a really large percentage. It's a large percent. I don't know what exactly, but it's the majority are like that. Some are openly corrupt. And I think I just want guys to back each other up in scenarios like this, because a lot of times women don't deserve the support when they're doing something wrong. Like the girls who are making fun of that guy, I'm sure some other retarded white knight type guys would walk up to that guy and be like, hey bro, you have to get out of here, bro. You listen to the girl, stop weirding them out, get out of here, leave. A lot of retarded men will do that. They're retarded and they're trying to gain some sort of they think subconsciously that it's going to help them with sleeping or with their reproductive success. Let's say it will win the favor of approval of women, so they may have a better chance in sleeping with them. That's what they're doing. So you got to keep that in mind. Okay, that's about it. And what else do I have to say? Let me think. Oh yeah, guys. Valentine's Day is coming up. Guys, I'm hoping you guys a good experience. For me, I don't know about you guys, but I have trouble. I'm not the type of guy who will settle for any type of girl. I think a lot of people are like that. I think the incel movement, for instance, is filled with a lot of people who just want a quality girl and they're having trouble finding one. They're having not finding one, but have trouble getting one or dating one. And I think I want you guys to know a lot of people on this Valentine's Day are going to be lonely, and you're not alone. There's a lot of people, and I want you guys to feel. I want you guys to be okay with that and know that society is in a really bad place right now. And it's not your fault. It's not your fault. Society. There's a lot of people who are going to be alone this Valentine's Day. There's a lot of people who will be alone for a lot of things in the future. And I want you to know that it's affecting a lot of people, even attractive people. It's affecting everyone almost, Of course, you have Giga Chad type dudes who don't ever have to be alone in any situation. But the majority of guys are experiencing a lot of, it's difficult for the majority of guys. There's one thing that I do see. So I notice when I go take public transportation, let's call it, I notice I see certain types of dudes. One type of guy is attractive, and there's certain type. I'm talking about with girls. There's one type of guy who's attractive, and he's with girls. He's with a girl or girls, and they're a lot more quiet among each other. They're not really talking that much. It's kind of more serious, right? And then I see other relations where there's this guy who's not good looking. He's kind of goofy looking. He's kind of shorter. And there's a girl with him, right? And usually there's a really lively conversation, or like they're talking a lot and they're speaking about things, right? I don't know. I just feel like when you're attractive as a guy, you don't have to do that. You don't have to behave in a way to attract a woman. And then when you're an unattractive guy, I noticed that they have to put a lot more effort into attracting, keeping her attention, all that sort of stuff. And they have to be a lot more nice, you know? Yeah, I'll tell you guys something. So something I'm doing, I am hitting the gym a lot more, and I am getting. So here's the thing about the black pill, right? I think it's definitely important to take it and try to improve from it, whether it's improving with women or changing your perspective on life. But I think it's a danger, or helping the world and the current relation between men and women. I think it's important to use information for progress. A lot of people in this community are they learn the things and then they give up on life. They give up on everything and they're depressed. And I can understand how difficult it is. You know, I could see it. I've experienced it firsthand. So I know what it's like. But at the same time, I think it's a much better philosophy to use that information and to improve yourself with it. Try your best to improve yourself with the information. Don't sit in a puddle of your tears. Use the information that you hear and try to grow yourself. Try to do your best in this one life you have, whether it's, you know, with you could even forget women and do something else, but try to do your best. And I've noticed for me, I don't know about you guys, but I read a book that talked about, it's called How Rich People Think. It's a very good book, but one chapter of it I really liked. The author talked about how the very successful people in this world don't focus directly on money, but they focus on projects and doing things in the world that are meaningful for them, meaningful for other people, bringing value into the world. And I think that's a really good mentality to have. It's very fulfilling. I notice when I'm improving myself, bringing value into the world, basically doing things that are meaningful to me, that's what keeps me happier more than any girl could. I mean, of course, it is definitely a sad thing to. Some guys really are attached to women, and they really need female companionship. But I believe the greatest happiness comes from doing meaningful things. You know, I mean, remember, like, Isaac Newton died a virgin, right? And he lived an incredibly meaningful life. We have a lot of people who are great people and who did great things and lived fulfilling lives, but were not successful with women. You know, so Tchaikovsky was one of them, but he was gay. So, but still, he was a lonely dude. That's all I have to say, and I kind of rambled at the end. But this feminist thing, man, this crazy, irrational behavior of women and their judgmental behavior. Remember, guys, you'll have these women saying a bunch of bad things about guys who are simply approaching women, who are just like talking and are kind and sincere. And maybe it's because they're physically unattractive. Maybe it's because they're a racial ethnicity that the girl does not like, etc. smash that guy. They will crush that guy. And like that girl was trying to do to me today. She was trying to crush me of some sort. But at the same time, these women will form relationships with abusive men. They will fawn over, a lot of these women will fawn over Ted Bundy, like in the past. Ted Bundy received a lot of love letters. So it's very irrational behavior. And at the end of the day, you just have to realize that women are, they're not to be taken seriously. You should really never take women seriously, and you should never respect the way that you can respect women, you're right, like, kind of like be polite, not be rude to them, but you should never take their thinking and put a great deal of importance in it unless it is accurate and correct. But most of the time, their thinking is not objective, rational thinking. It is emotional thinking. And women are poor judges of character as well. They're very poor judges of character. And remember, studies have indicated that women are more attracted to bad men than good men. So remember that. Okay, that would be all. But remember, they're more attracted to dark triad traits than the guy who is helping the homeless people on the weekend, volunteering to help the homeless people. They're more attracted to the guy who is abusive and cunning and manipulative, etc., than they are attracted to the good man who is helping the homeless people, who is doing good things in the world, and who cares about people. Remember that. It's true. Most women are like that. And you might ask yourself why that is. Well, here's Stardust had a recent video on that. His video is called Tall, Dark, and Handsome. It's a very good video, but he talks about how, our sexual attraction impulses are designed for an environment that was a lot different than the one we live in. We used to live in hunter-gatherer societies. There was no law except for the law of the jungle. And the things that were attractive to women were traits in a man that would indicate health and survivability. And status, right? And dominance. So traits that would indicate those characteristics would be attractive to women. So a guy who is self-centered, brutal, greedy, sociopathic, cunning, he's going to be more attractive to women because in that environment, that man would have a survival advantage over a man who is kind, virtuous, caring, sensitive. That screwed up guy would have a survival advantage, and therefore women would be more adapted to be attracted to that man. You see? Okay? And it kind of flips around for women too. You could have but actually character traits don't, men's attraction to women is more about fertility signals, not so much about character traits, because women in the past would rely on men for survivability and surviving, and they would rely on men to provide. And but men would not rely on women to provide. So men do not look at and care as much about women's character traits inherently, right? So we are attracted to fertility signals like this, the shape, the shape of her body, the facial symmetry, things like that. We're attracted to more like reproductive aspects of a woman, and women are attracted to that in a man as well, but they also take a close eye to his survivability characteristics, in my opinion. So the dark triad screwed up guy would have a survival advantage, and women would like him. And here's the thing, I'm a nice dude. I'm a really nice guy. And that girl today, the crazy feminist chick who came up with her short hair, she's unattractive, her short hair, her beanie hat, her shapeless jeans that looked like a dude's. She came up to me and so aggressively told that girl, did this guy just come and approach you? He's a creep. She said this. But at the same time, I'm a really good dude. Most people who know me know I'm a very good-hearted person. I've done a lot of good things for people. I care about people. I don't deceive my friends. My older brother even, my parents were saying, talking some crap about me, and he told them, in the whole family, he's the best character. He's the best person in the family in terms of character. He's the best hearted person in the family, So people who know me say this, but maybe I am terrible to that girl because I'm not dark triad enough. Who knows? I have no idea. It was irrational, and I think it was more she was in a hateful state towards men in general. And you'll have situations like if a girl is in a bad mental state and she's like, let's say she dealt with a guy who was like aggressive towards her before, she'll be mean to the next guy. She'll be mean to the next dude because she's thinking they think as men as one type of person. They think of all men as the same kind of thing. So they will treat the next guy in a brutal way if they're annoyed. She was angry towards men. That's what I felt. She had an anger from something. I don't know what happened to her, but she was angry at men and she took it out on me at that moment. And there's a lot of emotion there, and I had no idea where it came from because I haven't seen that girl or talked to her in months. And when we did talk, it was nothing. It was nothing terrible. I think she got offended because I sent her a screenshot on my phone. She was being disrespectful, and I said she was saying that I shouldn't be approaching women. Blah 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 blah. It's harassment, and I said, oh yeah, well then. I approached like 3 other girls that day, and they all want to meet. And I sent her screenshots of those girls accepting and agreeing to meeting for a date. And I think this offended her, and she got one-upped feeling. So she took it out on me today. So I don't think that. I think yes. I think the word creepy is a strange insult that women use towards men. It's a way to derogate the man. It's a way to lower his status, lower his perception in the eyes of women and men. It's a way to harm the guy. But the truth of the matter is that word is it's very difficult to, if I stopped her, for instance, I said, what do you mean by creepy? What exactly are you trying to say? She would have trouble objectively saying anything because that word itself doesn't really have something behind it. It's more of a way to hit a guy a lot of the time. I don't know. The word creepy, I just don't understand the logic, the thinking behind it half the time. It's for some guys, I guess it's because they're physically unattractive and they're making advances towards the women, so women will think he's creepy. She will come with that word. But even that is just so unethical to do that. So a guy who is born short and let's say overweight and unattractive and shows interest to a girl because he finds her attractive. Now keep in mind, this guy will pay for her drinks on a date. He will hold her coat. He will hold her bags while she's walking. He will take care of her. He will defend her to the death, right? But because he's short and because he's unattractive, it's him showing desire or affection toward that woman is a derogatory thing labeled by women as creepy. Think about that. So this is why I'm saying most of female nature is corrupt. Most women are of corrupt nature, and that is a fact. You could bring any feminist to me, and I will debate her ass to the end. I'm certain of this. I really do think female nature is really screwed up, especially today. Okay, I'm sorry for women and bring that up, but if we break down apart the way that you behave and the way that you girls think and the way you guys treat men, you girls treat men, there is no other conclusion. There's so much wrong with it. There's so much immoral with it. It's so unethical. It is so sociopathic. I honestly think that the natural state of most women is sociopathic. When it relates to men, it is sociopathic. Now, research what sociopathy is. When the way women relate to men is the way a sociopath relates to another human being. Okay? It sounds really bad, but I really do think it's true. All right. Thank you, guys. All right, bye.